Alex Jones has to pay $1 billion for casting doubt on a deadly shooting, something for which he has since apologized for. But MSNBC host Joy Reid can do so with impunity. Watch.
We still don't know for sure whether Donald Trump was hit by a bullet, whether he was hit by glass fragments, whether he was hit by shrapnel. We don't have those details. We actually have no details from his physician, even though this man is still a Secret Service protected, and presidential candidate. We knew almost nothing.
It's funny that even one of the less favorite propaganda tools, Snopes, rates such assertions as being false, just flat out false. They say photographic evidence shows the bullet path toward President Trump's ear, and that photographic evidence also proves that the teleprompter did not get hit and spray glass toward 45, as some have been insinuating. If you're a lefty who's lost Snopes, that's saying something. But as crazy as Joy Reid is, at least she didn't jump on the bandwagon that billionaire DNC mega donor Reid Hoffman tried to popularize, which is to say that the entire shooting was just made up and staged between President Trump and Putin. The reason why these lefties are allowed to make such insane arguments without any pushback, any huge pushback at least, from all the self-appointed gatekeepers against misinformation, is that none of these wackadoodle conspiracy theories are a threat to the regime in power. In fact, they help the regime in power by trying to take away some of the public sympathy for the man who leads a movement against their regime. The national security or administrative state has never cared about fighting, quote-unquote, misinformation. That's why they call truth a conspiracy theory, and conspiracy theories truth. They want to be the only purveyors of misinformation on the market, and they want it to go unchallenged. One of their most reliable tricks in the books on how to do this is to take the advice of Saul Alinsky and to blame us for what they are actively doing. Take, for example, the notorious Russiagate hoaxer, Max Boot of the Washington Post. Turns out his wife, Sue Mi Terry, a former White House National Security Council official, CIA analyst, and current senior fellow at the Council of Foreign Relations, is now being indicted by federal prosecutors for allegedly, get this, acting as an unregistered foreign agent. Is that why Max Boot has been so quick to accuse President Trump of being exactly that, but for Russia? Sorry, Boot, your projections are just that, and they only show the defects in your own household. Not everyone is as corrupt as you. Newsflash. His wife is accused of accepting luxury gifts from South Korean government officials in exchange for sensitive information from her links to top U.S. officials. Reuters explains, quote, in return, the South Korean intelligence officers allegedly provided Terry with Bottega Veneta and Louis Vuitton handbags, a Dolce & Gabbana coat, dinners at Michelin-starred restaurants, and more than $37,000 in covert funding for a public policy program on Korean affairs that she ran. The indictment contains surveillance camera images of Terry awaiting or carrying a gift bag while the officers pay at Bottega Veneta and Louis Vuitton stores in Washington in 2019 and 2021, respectively, end quote. The FBI even reportedly warned her a decade earlier that South Korean intelligence officers would try and coax information out of her through gifts. Terry, of course, denies these allegations, and her lawyers say that there were times when she's been quite critical of the government of South Korea during her work as a scholar, an advisor, an op-ed contributor, and an expert guest on TV, radio, and podcasts. I mean, she has a lot of sway. Though I have to say, no government is completely unified and monolithic, so her argument there fails to account for the fact that a person could be an unregistered foreign agent for a government paid for by one side and not the other. And so criticizing the other side would still be toward the benefit of the side that's paying you. So just saying. Anyway, everyone seems to be an unregistered foreign agent these days, except for Trump, even after all the Russia fear-mongering. How about that? You basically got Hunter Biden, allegedly, I'm legally forced to add here, and Democrat Senator Bob Menendez, who just got convicted of taking bribes from Egypt and Qatar to do their bidding in our government. Turns out he will finally now be heeding calls to resign.